everybody. So, welcome to game day. It's pretty exciting, isn't it? If you don't already know, maybe you're just doing the knitting. You're like, it's doing great. Everything's awesome. We have run into some technical issues with the crochet first video. It doesn't want to get onto YouTube. It says that it is running the checks right now. It is now 11:30. I've been trying to upload this since 7 a.m. this morning.
I'm pretty sure it's premiering now.
Is it? Thank goodness.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I'm pretty sure it's going.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
So
I see my face talking.
Premiering. Awesome. So as we're live, it's premiering. Fantastic. Well, like we had the other 9 o'clock ones went up. All the 11 o'clocks went up except this one because we're doing live. We already have a 1 o'clock up. Like I'm just like, I don't know. I have no idea. Anyways, all of that is to say,
I just talk too much. I just like to talk a lot.
It wasn't an abnormally long video though. That's what I don't understand. Like I have no idea why it's taking so long. Oh well, it's okay. So hopefully all of you are having fun so far. The links have been going on that main blog post. You guys know where it is. It is right there. If you have not yet bookmarked that folder or bookmarked that blog post in your folder, I don't know why you are just hesitating. Just do it. It's so much easier to be able to find where you need to go because every 2 hours you will go there, scroll to the bottom. When the links are added, they are hyperlinked. They work. Of course, my son decides to call me. And so everything is added there as soon as the clock turns over. I cannot schedule them, guys. So I'm literally going in manually adding the links. If I add them ahead of time, you guys would have everything right now. So you give me a little bit of, I'm trying to get them done as quickly as possible. I'm trying to get them done like a little bit before the time so that they're ready to go. But some of you are very, very excited about this, which is great. So many fun colors. I can see a lot of exciting things happening online so far in the Marley's Minions group. If you're not there, make sure you are part of that because there are prizes given away throughout the day. Some of the testers, the moderators, we're all watching and paying attention to those of you who are participating, encouraging, and just having a grand old time with all of us over there. And yeah, just show us your progress and just do all the things with us. Okay, so by this point, you have the ribbing of your project complete. So it looks a little something like this, right? You have some twisted stitches. You have that little rolled edge there. I love that. I think that's like one of my favorite things. What you're going to do on this play is we're going into the color work, people, and this project is all about the color work. So sit down, get comfortable, and just relax. Do what you can. All right. The stitch pattern repeat for this pattern is 14 stitches. All right. You are going to repeat this chart 7 times. All right. 7 times. As you find this chart on the blog, you'll actually see where you can click it and it opens up to a new page. You could print it off so you get a large version just like this so you could follow along. If you're somebody who's like me and you have something like this, I love to use Post-it notes. I don't know. I mean, how many of you love Post-it notes? Leave me a comment. Like, I love Post-it notes. I will use Post-it notes and I will mark off the rows as I go. And I mark them off above the row I'm on. Now, those of you who've been through By Crafty Bootcamp and have seen some of my other videos regarding color work, you know why I do this. But if you haven't, I'm going to let you know. You always want to mark off the rows as the rows you haven't done, like mark those, cover those up, leave the ones you've done open because these, what you will see open down here will be represented on what your actual fabric is. So you can check where you are in an actual pattern. If you're covering up what you've done, you have no checks and balances. So you always want to do your Post-it notes or whatever you're doing, mark them off as you go above each row. So as we go on to the next row, I will mark it off. I'll just move everything up, so on and so forth. So then I don't get super confused. Does that make sense to everybody? All right. So that's how this goes. Regarding the chart, you're going to see that we have our colors. We have A, B, C, D, and E. If you're able to print off in color, you can see some of the ones that are darker than some of the others. But I did write in the blog that this is your dark shade of color 1. This is your light shade of color 1, dark shade of color 2, light shade of color 2, and this is your neutral. Do you have to follow that? Absolutely not. If you want to change these up, go for it. Just make sure you write it down so that you stay consistent with it. I would recommend keeping the darks with the darks and the light with the lights. I think that works best. But I mean, really, it's yours. You do what you want to do. You have fun with it. Okay. You can obviously see on the chart how the colors literally all get worked together. All right. So you could, one thing you won't see, your color C isn't used in this chart right here, right? But you could change one of these to color C if you want. Like if you wanted to do these crosses right here and the dot in the color C, you could do that. Like you could change that up. Like, and that's actually replacing a dark or replacing a light with a dark, but you can see your chart. You can see here how things work. Okay, the very first row is just plain knitting. All right, the entire chart is just knitting, and we're going to do stranded color work. And I'm going to show you how to hold the yarn in both hands, like one in each hand. And I'm going to show you how to do it if you were to drop the yarn each time. Okay, because I know that some of you are just like, I don't want to hold the yarn in both hands, and that's fine. There's a couple things I want you to be consistent with, regardless if you hold the yarn in both hands or if you drop the yarn each time, that I will go over. But the first row, we are just using color A still, and we're just knitting. And on this row, we're going to switch over to our larger needles. Now, in the pre-game video that we did, Robin and I, we talked about the gauge. And if you were to err on the side of caution when it comes to your knitting gauge, you're better off going a little bit bigger than a little bit smaller. Because when you're doing stranded color work, the natural tendency of knitters is to be too tight. So it's much better to kind of use a larger needle if that's what you need versus a smaller one. All right. You have plenty of yarn. If you got all the yarn that we suggested, you have plenty. All right. So I'm going to move my chart out of the way. You guys follow your own chart. This first one, we're just knitting all one color. There's nothing exciting happening, but we are going to change to a larger needle. So I'm at the start of my round. This would be my right hand needle. I'm just going to move it out of the way, and I'm going to
Real quick, Marley. Yeah, get rid of me so that we can
what I'm
see
going
it.
to do. Okay. Well, I want to add you, but I'm trying to see how to.
Oh, yeah, but
How do I make it to where
with your
that
hands.
one? There we go. Maybe
Yeah,
that. Let's do that.
that
Look at
looks
that. I figured it out, y'all. Let me delete this. This is great because at By Crafty Bootcamp, I couldn't figure out how to do this.
no.
All right, so we're just at my hand. So this was in my right hand. I've just pulled it out. And I'm going to hold this one in my left hand, and I'm going to hold my larger needle in my right hand. And I'm just going to knit. Now I haven't added my stitch marker back because it would just fall off at this point. But I am just going to knit all the way around. I'm also going to give you a quick little tip here. If, say, you decided, or you accidentally did your ribbing and you had too many stitches or too few stitches, on this round of just plain stockinette where you're going to the larger needle, it's a good opportunity for you to increase or decrease your stitches if you needed to get to the correct stitch count. Say for some reason you have too few stitches. Well, just put 2 stitches in using like a knit front and back at, various points in this round to get to the right stitch count, and you're right as rain. So it's really great, I think, to transition from the ribbing to the stranded knitting portion with just a plain round, because it gives you all those opportunities to work an increase, work a decrease, work to a larger needle, because usually you do work stranded knitting with a larger needle. It's just a chance to kind of take a deep breath before you go in with the plunge. All right. How we doing on comments so far, Robin? Everything looking good? Sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
No, we're great. Everybody says hi. They're happy to be here
Good.
because they're not crocheters.
Oh, of course.
Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Do you know how bad I feel? Because I knew that those stitches were different, and I knew they were going to need a video. And it's not that I didn't want to put a video. I have been trying, you guys.
No, I'm just giving you a hard time because it's funny. Because
know,
it's always something in everything that we do. It's always something.
right?
We were like so ahead of the game, and technology failed us.
Yeah.
But you're doing amazing. And honestly, the crocheters have done great because they've been persevering. So,
It's
one of
forcing
those
them
big
to read a
prizes
pattern.
of like perseverance. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, fine. I don't see it, but I got the diagrams, I got the words. which is
Well,
cool.
and you know what's crazy is over the years, there used to be no videos for game day. It was like you got the instructions and you were to like go. So over the years, we have gradually added videos to game day because that was not always part of game day at all. So this is a big change, but it's good.
Yeah.
We do the best we can, right? We do the best we can, and I mean, at the end of the day, you're still have plenty of time to make these
Yeah, that
projects.
that's the main thing that all of us have been reassuring everybody.
You have plenty of
Is
time.
you're gonna have plenty of time. It's just crocheters, we were trying to start them off strong
I know.
because we know how fast they go.
Oh
But
gosh.
honestly, throughout the day today, they're gonna have plenty of time to play catch up because not
Right,
every one of their plays is gonna take them that long.
right. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and put my I almost said stitch markers, my post-it notes in place, and I'm just covering up everything beneath. So I said I've covered everything above row 2 or round 2. You can think of it as round 2. It's row 2 of the chart, but it's round 2 of your project. So let's take a look at this because this is going to be something that can trip you up, and it's something that tripped up the testers. Okay, guys. And I, in a funny way, I did this on purpose to keep it interesting. And then I was like, I was surprised how many people it tripped up. I want you to notice here the repeat. It's 1, 2, 3, color A, 1, color D. 1, 2, 3, color A, 1, color D. 1, 2, 3, color A, 1, color D. 1, 2. Then you come over here. 1, 2, 3, color A, 1, color D. When you do that, how many stitches does that put in a row of color A?
I know.
You guys notice?
I know, count on
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. So there's 5 there, you guys. So what will happen as you repeat this, you start off with 3 and 1, 3 and 1, 3 and 1. Then it's going to be 5, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 1, 3 and 1, 3 and 1, 5, 1, 3 and 1, 3 and 1, 5 and 1. You guys see that? You see how that sets up? All right. That's important because it's going to set up the rest of your piece up here. It is not a mistake. This is not a mistake that there's a dot right there and then there's crosses. All right. There's the dot in between 3 crosses. Those of you who know me know I'm really big into numbers. I want you to notice this is a repeat of 7. There are 3 crosses and then a dot. There are 7 of those. Like, these are the numbers that just make me excited. There are 5 colors. Like, this is fantastic. There's 11 rows on this chart. Like, these are all my numbers, people. So this is not a mistake. Some people might be like, well, oh, she messed up. Nope, I didn't mess up. This is on purpose. So we're going to do 3 to start. All right. So I'm going to put my marker there. And I'm going to start off here showing what we're going to do. So I'm going to move this aside. We're going to have yarn, whether you hold it in 2 hands or not, or you drop the color each time. I want you to maintain this consistency. You ready? The yarn that would be in your right hand will end up being the bottom float on the back. The yarn that will be in your left hand will be the top float in the back. So regardless if you hold them one in each hand or if you're going to drop each time, whatever color is over here in your right hand, we'll call this your non-dominant color. All right. That one is a bottom float, and that's going to make sense here in just a minute. Okay, guys, we want to keep these floats consistent. You want to always keep whatever color is on the bottom, keep that on the bottom. Whatever color is on top, keep that on top. So we have 3 of our color A. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to do 1 of my color D. So I'm just going to take my yarn, leave a nice long tail, guys, wrap it around my right hand needle and take it off and jump. Now I'm going to drop it. Okay. I'm going to drop it and pretend that I am just, I'm going to do this. I'm going to drop it and pretend I'm just holding my yarn in my right hand, regardless Okay, here we go. So this is really hard for me to do, actually. So 1, 2, 3. And now my pink, remember I said I wanted whatever one was going to be in my left. So that would be my gray. So I'm going to just kind of tag this up here, grab my pink, not your tail, grab your pink. You're going to float it across those stitches that you just knit. Make sure they are not tight together. Okay, you do not want them tight together. You want them spaced out just like they would normally be in your work. Have that float go across and knit. You can drop the pink, pick up the gray. We're going to do 3 of your gray. 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to move this up here so that I keep it on top. Pick up my pink. Make sure your stitches are spaced out. They're not tight. Float your yarn across. Well, go into the stitch first. Float your yarn across, knit with your pink, drop your pink, pick up your gray. Well, when I get done with this, I'm going to show you the floats and show you what I mean by on the top and on the bottom. All right. This is what it looks like on the right side. If I go to the back side, I want you to see this. Let me see if I can grab one of my pointers. Oop, as I hit the microphone. Can you see here, like there's my gray float that went behind the pink. See how it's above the pink floats? There's my gray float that went behind the pink. It's above the pink float. So my pink float is always on the bottom. My gray is always on top. Does that make sense to everybody? I need thumbs up. Everybody reply to me. Thumbs up. Yes? Awesome. All right. Thumbs up. Pink underneath, gray on top. Now, you could switch this up. I could decide that I want pink on top and gray on the bottom. It doesn't matter. All that would mean is that I was holding my gray in my right hand and my pink in my left hand. Does that make sense, you guys? Okay. Does that make sense? Awesome. All right. So that's how you're going to do it if you're going to drop your yarn every time. If you've never done color work before, these are the biggest things I need you to pay attention to. Make sure you're consistent with the floats on where their position is. Make sure also that you give yourself enough room from where that pink one is to where that one is, where the float's going across there, because these floats do not stretch. So if you make those too tight, your project is not going to fit. It's going to be too tight. Okay. So it's better to err on the side of caution and have this float be a little bit too big versus too small. We do not want to float and have our stitches be real squished up like that. You want to make sure your stitches are spaced out just like they're supposed to be in their gauge. All right. So that's if you're going to drop. It's the same thing if you're going to hold the yarn with one yarn in each hand. You're going to see it's going to be the same exact placement of your float. It's just we're going to wrap our yarn with our other hand. Okay, you ready? So I have 3 here, so I'm ready to do what now? I did 1, 2, 3, 1. 1, 2, 3, 1. 1, 2, 3, 1. 1, 2. That's the end of my repeat. So this one here is like it's the first one of my next repeat. So there's 1, 2, and 3. Does everybody see how I got that? Okay, so that's going to be my 5 that I had just talked about. Give me a thumbs up if you see how I got that. Now I'm to my stitch number 4 on my chart. So I go in, I float all the way across, yarn around with my pink, come off, and I continue on. So this would be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That's the end of my repeat. Now, I will tell you guys, some of the testers were smart and they decided that they were going to use markers that were different than their beginning marker at the end of each repeat. So that way they could be like, oh, all right, so there's 1, 2, that's the end of my repeat, start my chart over. All right, so I'm going to show you how that would work. You guys, I mean, you know how stitch markers work, so I'm pretty sure you would know how this is. So that would be the end of my repeat. So I'm starting my chart over. So I go 1, 2, 3. Make sure those are nice and spaced out. Wrap with my pink. Did I just, yeah, okay. I was losing my mind for a second. 1, no, pink is on top. Did I just say all that wrong? No, I'm right. Oh my gosh, I'm like having, Robin, I had a panic attack.
I know.
I was like, is my pink on the wrong place? No, okay.
I could
Oh
tell.
my gosh.
I could
Oh
tell.
my gosh. I had a panic attack. I was like, I did not just say all that wrong. Oh my gosh.
It's because you're going on autopilot.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
But just go on autopilot. Like, you got this. This is
Okay.
awesome.
All right. 1, 2, 3, and then go. Guys, see how that works? Okay. Am I saying that right? I am, right? Like the pink is beneath, yeah, the pink is beneath the gray. Because this goes on top and that goes on the bottom, right? Or am I switching it? I think I did say it wrong, Robin. Regardless, my point here, guys, make sure whatever color you want is on top. Just make sure it's always consistent on top.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like,
yeah,
it doesn't really matter. Just
it
choose
doesn't.
one and go with it.
3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1. Yeah, that's on top. The right hand is on top. Anyways, you guys get what I'm saying here, right?
Yeah.
I just,
It's they can tell. Do one the wrong way for do if you don't mind. Do one the wrong way so then they can see.
Yeah. So this would be like if I picked it up and I put them in the different hands. So let's see, it's supposed to be there. So I'll do this. It is, the right hand is on top. Man, I was said that wrong. You know what got me is because I didn't start off with it both in my hands.
Right.
All right, so hold on. 1, 2, 3, 1. 1, 2, 3, 1. 1, 2, 3, 1. 1, 2. So this would be my repeat.
Okay, now turn it over and show us so that everyone can see, like, oops, if you put it down, you can see what.
So there's the gray. See now?
Yeah, you see that bump? It shouldn't be there. So it's pretty quickly you can be like,
one.
oh, I switched my yarns.
You get it? It at the end of the day, y'all, this is where we are. Hold on. Can we do this? Okay. At the end of the day, you just want to make sure whatever color is on top, keep it on top. Whatever color is on bottom, keep it on the bottom. I think I mixed them up when I was trying to talk originally, but that's what it means. Over all of it, that's the takeaway. Is whatever's on top, keep on top. Whatever's on bottom, keep on the bottom. You guys get that? Yes? All right. Of course, right? How are we doing? I'm trying to look at comments, but my comments aren't scrolling.
Oh, no, you're good. Everybody loves you, including me. No, it's so great to see it being done as you're doing it. It's so nice that you made another one for us really quick so we can see this. Okay. This is nice.
All right. So as you're going on, here are the things I want to make sure you keep track of, because these are the things that could trip you up. And it's going to go back to this 5 count here. Okay.
Can you make your hand big again?
Oh, yes, I can. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
We're going back to this 5 count here. So once we get past this, you're going to go to row 3. You're going to see it's 1 pink, 1 gray, 3 pink, 1 gray, 3 pink, 1 gray, 3 pink, 1 gray, 1 pink, 1 gray. You see what I mean? It's these stitches here that are going to give you the most, like, you're going to be like, oh, because you will go on autopilot and just be like, oh, those are how it goes. But I have this sneaky little dot right there that's going to make it interesting. All right. So as you keep going, what we've prepared down here is going to set you up for the rest of the piece. And if you use the markers at the end of 14 stitches, just like the testers did, it will help you to be like, oh, that's 14 stitches, go back to the start. 14 stitches, go back to the start. 14 stitches, go back to the start. Got it? When you switch colors, the order of the top and bottom stitches, correct? When you switch colors, the order of top bottom stitch switches, correct? Help me understand what she's asking, Robin, right there. When you
That's
switch colors, the
that's
order of
what
the
I was gonna ask you as well.
Okay. I think I see what she means. So here's my answer. For me, if I am using pink, and let's say I kept pink in my right hand, and then all of a sudden I dropped my gray, I would still keep pink in my right hand, and I would put this lighter gray in my left hand.
Yeah.
I would maintain the pink. Now, I will tell you guys, the color that's in your left hand, the color in your left hand is going to be a little bit more pronounced in your fabric than the color in your right hand. It's just the nature of the way stitches work. It's called the dominance in color. And doing stranded color work this way creates dominance. And those of you who follow Arnie and Carlos, yes, they do a Norwegian style. They claim that there is no color dominance. But if you follow like Roxanne Richardson, she's done an entire like demonstration explanation way better than I could on color dominance, and it is a thing. So if you're like this, you're like, you know what, I really want my pink to be more pronounced than my light gray, hold the pink in your left hand. All right, those of you who are continental, think of it as whatever yarn is the most comfortable in your left hand, that's going to be your most like dominant color. Okay, the dominant color has nothing to do with your dominant hand, meaning if you are naturally right-handed or naturally left-handed. It has to do with where it is, and then how the floats go. And so the way it all works is whatever color happens to be in the left hand, that color is more dominant than the color in the right hand. And it's not like a huge significant thing, guys, but it's noticeable enough that if you change them up, you will notice.
Yeah,
Okay?
it's mainly like these tips are so fantastic for anybody who's a beginner because it's those little things that you notice like on a finished product
Yeah.
and you're like, "But I feel like I did everything right. Like what's going
Right.
on?"
Yeah. It's
So
really
knowing
fine tuning.
yeah, it's just knowing that like, "Oh, whatever I want to be the boldest of those things," because what you'll notice with all color design is your eyes are either gonna see those little crosses or you're gonna see the outline of the crosses better, because that's
Mhm.
how our brains work. We see one or the other. Um, and so whatever you want to be the bold part, make sure that's in your left hand. So for
Yep.
me, I see the crosses, that's how my brain works. I don't see the outline. So I'd want them bold, but
Mhm.
that's me. But easily you can see that how that outline in pink
Yeah.
is a really striking feature. So maybe you would want that to be more in the forefront.
Right. Now, here's the last thing I want to mention to you guys is, say you give it a good college try. You're like, I hate this. I hate doing stranded color work. I don't want to do this. If you wanted to do some striping, you could do that. And then instead of changing colors when the color changes and stuff, like when there's two colors in a row, like for example, like this is literally just, if you wanted to try, first off, you could do like 2-row striping if you wanted to, right? You could do 2-row striping. You could like do gray and then do gray, and instead of this pink, maybe do a pearl, right? And then do gray, do a pearl, do gray, and do a pearl. And maybe on the next one, you decide that you're going to make that pink. So you're going to do, maybe since you made that pink a pearl, maybe you treat all the pinks as pearls. So you decide to pearl all of those and then do all the other colors as knits. Like you could make it as exciting as you want. But really, guys, if you can do stockinette stitch, if you can knit, you can do this. Like you can absolutely do this. Don't give up too quickly at all. Like it's one of those things. I know you can do it. It's I don't know, but that's really the gist of it all. Yeah. All right. So I want to get going on this because I want to be able to talk to you guys for the 1 o'clock clue. But at the 1 o'clock, I'm going to come on at 2 o'clock with the video. And the reason I'm going to do that is I know with this video being late, some of you are going to be like, you need time to get this done. So I'm going to come on at 2 o'clock with the video. In that one, it's more color work, I will tell you. However, I want to show you how we're going to weave or tuck in our floats as we're going across, because that's going to be important for you guys to do. All right. Okay. So any other questions that I possibly didn't?
They want to know how many times I repeat the chart around your project.
You repeat each row 7 times. You repeat the chart, like the rounds, once. So you're going to repeat this 7 times.
Right.
So you'll end on round 11.
Yeah. We're not making you repeat the whole thing 7 times in the next hour.
Oh gosh, no. Oh gosh, no. That didn't even like.
That would be just cruel. That would just be not nice.
That would be awful. No. You're going to do like 1 through 11, but as you're working across your stitches, the stitch repeat is 14. Everybody got it?
Yeah.
You can do this. I believe you guys can do this. I know you can do this. Just remember, whatever color would be in your right hand or whatever color's on the bottom, keep it on the bottom. Whatever color's on top, keep it on top. Just keep it consistent and you'll be good. All right, that's going to be it for me over here. I'm going to get the next things ready to go. At 1 o'clock, are you doing Tunisian at 1 o'clock, alive at Tunisian?
Yeah, I'm going to try to answer any outstanding crochet and Tunisian questions.
Okay, so we'll be back here at 1 o'clock for the Tunisian, not that you guys care, but and then I will do 2 o'clock for the next knitting one. All right. Bye, guys.